Hello Gemini, thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Tarot Grand Lux by Cyril Marchetti. There's a website here at the top, usgamesinc.com if you are so interested. Supportive Oracle cards. Spellcasting Oracle cards by Flavia, Barbara, and Lisbeth. They're their full names if you're interested. On the back here are some websites and a really loud machine. Okay. She Who Is Art is the one that pops out to me, but there's a couple others there. Feel free to check those out if you want to. I don't know if you heard that, but there's a loud machine. I think it was a bucket loader, maybe. Could be, possibly. In case that's of interest. Oh, this might be good for you. There's one card pushing out of the deck. We will even take that. Queen of Pentacles. I think the Queen of Pentacles is your ally in this. Very interesting. Earth and air don't usually see eye to eye. They have different ways of doing things. Earth is very, this is how it's done. You do it the same way every single time. Air is like, well, let's see what happens, and we can change, and we can move, and we can bob, and we can weave. It's different. It's a different energy. It doesn't make anybody good or bad, just different energy. But the Queen of Pentacles, I think, wants you to help sort out a problem. Things aren't working right. They know things aren't working right. And they need you to help solve what's really going on here and help them get it in line. Long-term, Gemini may not be about the regimen and the rigorous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, day in and day out. That's not really Gemini's jam. Not usually that I'm aware of. But you can help sort out what's really going on, help create a good plan, leave it up to that Queen of Pentacles to sort it out, you know, just bring forth the truth, help find the truth, give the options, give the best options, let them figure out their own plan and then leave them to it. You could do that. That's doable. That's doable. They need you to help them figure this out. And it is a mess, but I feel like to you, it's not a mess, it's an opportunity. Kind of like the fact that it's a mess means there's a lot going on here and a lot to be found, a lot to be seen. It's kind of looking at a kid's room and it's a shamble, but you're like, there's so much in here, like who knows what's actually of value in here? Who knows what's going on in? Maybe like an attic is like an older person's attic. They're moving out and they left all this stuff up there. It's a mess, it's all in disarray, but there could be some really valuable, beautiful things there. You just got to search it out and figure it out. And with the Queen of Pentacles at your side, as it gets sorted out, you can figure out what's of value and what's not. It's kind of like, you know, the Queen of Pentacles will sort it out and make sure once you've sorted certain things out, it stays out of the way. Kind of like, all right, we went through this box. We don't need to go through it again. We went through the whole box. We categorized it. Let's go into the next. And you get to, you know, search out what else is here. What else can we find? What else can we do? What's with your Emperor card here? I don't think you want to be leading the way, but are you going to end up leading the way? 5 of Fire, which is conflict, and then the 9 is the Hermit card. Okay. How do I avoid conflict is what I keep getting. How do I avoid conflict? What can I say? What can I not say? Thing is with Pentacles, when you give them information, they hold on to it. And if you're still sorting out information, you're kind of like, no, let go of that. I know I told you that before, but let go of that because it's changed since then. That could be a challenge for you. What to say and what not to say. You have to be strategic. You might not... That's what that is. That's the Emperor. You're not looking to hold secrets. That's not really what you want to do, but you got to be strategic. And you're like, there's things coming forward. I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that, but there's more variables I have to find out. And I feel like you have to keep this person on point. Kind of like, just because this is how it looks so far doesn't mean this is how this is going to work. there's more variables I have to unearth, and I'm not sure what else is coming in. It's kind of like, all right, we're sorting these things out, but don't take these as a granted. Don't take these as if they're staying. Put these to the side, and we found them, but we got to find out what else goes with them. There's just these are only pieces of the puzzle. It's like we got 15 different puzzles going on, and we're not going to build all 15. We just want one. We just got to find out what we have all the pieces to, and then based on everything we find, go from there. So it's kind of like we have to be careful not to say too much, not to get too excited in front of this person. Keep them in the, we're only gathering assets. We're not making decisions, we're only gathering assets. It's very, I feel like you got to be careful not to say the value you're seeing. You got to be careful not to say the value you're seeing, but be honest about what you found. Kind of like, oh, I found this Victrola, for example. And you're looking at it kind of like, okay, it's broken, but there's a couple pieces in here that we could get a lot of money for because the collectors will want these couple pieces. So there is value. So you got to be careful, like, all right, there's a Victrola, we might be able to do something for that, and just leave it there. Not go through all of the things about, well, this piece and that piece, and we could probably do this and maybe do that. No, no, no. We got to hold it together, kind of like acknowledge it, but leave it compressed. Don't unpack what it could be worth. That type of thing. Because some of this is going to be left behind, and the other person that you're dealing with, this Queen of Pentacles, it doesn't have to have anything to do with the gender or even that sign. This person doesn't have to be that sign, any earth sign. Doesn't have to be a female, doesn't have to be an earth sign, doesn't have to be, but they're going to get attached to the thought, and they might start pulling things forward and building a plan of their own. So that's what we're worried about. Oh, one more card. Yeah, you got to keep it a little bit more secretive. Sometimes I think of this as the Gemini card, where you can see a lot, but you got to be careful you don't say a lot. What is the challenge with the Queen of Pentacles? Like, what is it? I feel like I'm not touching it. Yeah, the wheel, and then the Eight of Fire. Things change fast. They're going to want to stabilize because things keep changing fast around them. They want to stabilize. They have the need to stabilize. Be careful. Be careful with it. Things need to stay in a sense of flux. You're the one that's going to do the heavy lifting in this one. In fact, if you could search this out without their help, that's probably better. The less they're involved, the better, until you've gathered all the assets, until you know these are the assets we're going to use, those are the assets we're going to have to let go of. Until you get to that part, you might want to leave this person out if you can do that, or at least have minimal connection or minimal involvement. You need to do all the heavy lifting, because this change coming forward, there's a lot of conflict around this. There are things that are going to be lost. Things are going to be falling away. You're committed to the outcome. I feel like you have to do this yourself. Until you know what you have, you got to keep a lot of this to yourself. I really get that. The closure card is a beautiful card in this deck. I really think it's pretty with the purples and blues. Or is it red? Well, whatever color you're seeing there, you know, I think it's a pretty color, pretty card. There's falsehoods here. There's things that aren't going to be true as you keep moving forward. It's almost like you're looking at that Victrola and you're like, oh, these couple pieces, I'm sure we could get money for them. And then you look and you're like, wait a minute, these aren't the correct pieces. In fact, somebody already switched them out and they used something that doesn't really belong here. These are the incorrect pieces and we can't get it. They're junk. These things are junk. So it's kind of like you're like, oh, that I thought that was going to be something, but that's false. Now that I look at it closer, that's false. That's not going to work. This isn't even actually a Victrola. This is a knockoff. This is something somebody made after the fact. This is not from the right era. These are not the right pieces. This is actually just junk. You're going to figure out a lot of falsehoods on the way forward. That's another reason you want to be careful, because you're not going to have time to really sort it out to the detail. But we don't want to waste time on things that really aren't worth it. Because I feel like as it keeps going forward, you're going to figure out more and more. And you're like, oh, no, that wasn't right either. That looked good, maybe in a different place. Like, you're going to start figuring out more the more you find. So you kind of got to keep it to yourself until you know what you're dealing with. This is why this person has you involved, because you're the one who can figure this out. Don't involve them in the process till after if you can help it. What else is with this falsehood thing? Is somebody playing a game here? Knight of Fire reversed, and then the Moon card, a little bit askew. The truth is going to come out. Somebody made bad decisions. Somebody else made bad decisions. I don't know if they purposely did it or not. Like, some people just, they just make bad decisions. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's purposeful, sometimes it's not. I feel like you want to keep that to yourself too. People making bad decisions, keep that to yourself until, like, are you going to have to deal with that person who made the bad decisions? And then we could, like, find out, like, why were those bad decisions made? At the time, did they not know what they were doing? At the time, were they distracted? Were they going through some type of emotional problem? Whatever. Evaluate it after. Be careful. Don't call it out until after. Because you may have, like, okay, when they were making these decisions, maybe they had a couple passings in their family. A couple people passed away and they were very distraught. Maybe it's not normal for them to make these bad type of decisions, but they did at the time. So it's like when everything's all said and done, you're like, oh, during this period of time, all that happened. And they had a hard time in life. It's just, everybody hits these times in life. And you'll be able to, like, handle that appropriately however you feel you need to. Instead of, like, saying, oh, this wasn't right and that's not right. Who did this? Who did that? Oh, this person clearly makes bad decisions. Maybe at that time they did, for whatever reason. We all hit those moments in life. I feel like you know this. I feel like Gemini knows this extremely well. Sometimes in life you just hit these rough spots and you just have bad decision. There's just periods of life where you just make a bunch of bad decisions. And then you realize what was going on, you sort life out, and then you get back into a place of making good decisions again. I think that's a normal thing. I really do. And I feel like Gemini picks up on it a little bit more. Like when people are emotionally distraught, they don't make the best decisions. You know, they just don't. And it's a period of time that passes, and we're all subject to it. Some people more than others, but, you know, it's there. Keep that in mind as you're sorting this out. Because I feel like there might be a scapegoat tendency to, like, blame somebody for why things are the way they are. But when you really start drilling it down and find out what really was going on and why these decisions were made, you're like, well, yeah, this one person made those decisions, but they were under a tremendous amount of stress and they didn't realize they were making bad decisions. That stress has now moved on. They're doing a lot better. I don't see that happening to them again. Especially if it's somebody who lost a child or something like that. I don't know why we're doing that. But, I mean, that's very sad. But, like, if somebody loses a child, that's, you know, I mean, seriously. It's very, very hard to get over. I mean, come on. But we don't expect that to happen again. But, like, God forbid if it did, we'd know, all right, we got to give this person a little bit more support. They clearly need more support if they ever have to go through something like that again. We'll handle it differently. You're figuring it out. I feel like they're saying, though, for good reason, you need to keep it to yourself until you know what you're looking at. And then you're ready to decide what we're going to keep and what we're going to get rid of and how we're going to delineate it. Delineate? Is that a right word? I don't know. Then bring in this other person, because if you bring this person in too soon, for example, this other person made mistakes, they're going to start judging that person, not realizing what really happened, and there might be some less than the best decisions based on that. Somebody might lose their job. I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't lose their job. Maybe it's, like, understandable why those decisions were made. You know, we're all subject to certain things, not for nothing. If you keep this in your court until you know exactly what you're looking at, things go very well. Commitment card with the King of Cups. I feel like you're going to be in a power position. You'll bring forth the assets. You'll bring forth what needs to be known. You'll even have that information. Hey, you know, when so-and-so had those passings in their family, that's when these decisions were made. That's when this happened. I feel like that makes complete sense why that happened. I don't feel like it should be held against them. It does need to be addressed. I understand that, but let's be sensitive to the thought. Let's be realizing that this person makes really great decisions usually, but we're all human, and I think there's some understanding to be had there. And once you give that information, just so I don't miss out on this, because that's when you leave it. You pass forward the information, you give it to this other person, and you leave it to them. You try to step out. Leave it to them, step out. Give your best information, give your best version of it, step out, go do something else. Because I'm getting this card as a good thing. Kind of like, just do as much as you can, step away, let them finish off whatever else they want to do, because the way they process it after this is good, but not for you, is what I'm getting. That's not something you need to be a part of after that, is what I'm getting. Good? Done. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below with the same email. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.